Now, our final video in this chapter is all about creative white balance, which is totally my favorite use for white balance and gels and so forth, because this is how you create the holy crap, how did you do that kind of emotion in your clients. I hope I didn't freak you all out right now. But this is basically where we will intentionally modify the color of our flash for creative purposes. And I have the perfect illustration. It's featuring, again, Jill, who is in our lovely, or in her lovely swimsuit. Not our swimsuit, she's not borrowing our swimsuit, that'd be weird. She's in her swimsuit. Now, we're shooting this shot. The sun is, you can see just behind her head right here. And it's setting, and this is right around 4,500 degrees Kelvin. We can see that we get this nice kind of orange look in the background, which looks nice and everything. I added a gelled flash because I had kind of an inkling that I did want to gel the flash basically, but I wanted to see what the background looked like while she was lit up. And as soon as I took the shot, I'm like, yeah, you know, she's got this blue bikini on, and if I really made the background pop and it was blue as well, it would work so well with that bikini. Also, I want it to look dramatic. I want the water to look crazy blue. I want everything to look just amazing. And right here, it looks cool and everything, but it has just a little bit of something missing. So, with a gel on my flash, I have my assistant hold a silver reflector. We're going to talk about this more in a specific case study on how we approach the scene. But here are the basics. I have my flash gelled. I'm at 3550 Kelvin in camera, okay? And all I'm doing is bouncing off this reflector that's to the left of me as we shoot her, and we place her right basically in front of the sunset, and we simply take a few shots as the water is rolling in. Now, because my flash is my dominant light, and because it's been gelled to orange, when I balance so that this light is slightly neutral, slightly warm, then it sends the background into a deep, deep blue. And this is one of my favorite uses. This kind of almost became known as the Sports Illustrated effect, because Sports Illustrated used to use this effect so much in all their photos. They would always do this. They would get these super blue backgrounds, and it was all just because they gelled their flash and so forth. But it's an absolutely fantastic look. Whether you're doing couple session, whether you're doing something like this, it's a great look, and it's gonna make your clients go, holy cow, that doesn't look anything like it does here in real life. Now, here are the primary tips for this kind of creative white balance techniques. Just the same as corrective white balancing, we don't wanna basically mix multiple colors of light across someone's face, okay? Meaning, and this is gonna play more into when we talk about using off-camera lights and then gelling off-camera lights to different colors, what we want to do is make sure that each of those lights isn't overlapping with each other. If I use a yellow light behind the body and a blue light in front of the body, I want to make sure that those lights don't cross over the face. If you get mixed light over a face, it generally is not going to look good because you'll have this transition from yellow to blue and it's not going to look natural. So we try and separate that. Even when you're trying to create like a kicker on the side of their face, you want to make sure that that kicker, if it's blue, it stops here, and then your other color here doesn't kind of transition into it. It looks messy if you get light bleeding into each other. So what we want to make sure is that we're not lighting our subject with multiple colors of light. So if you'll notice in this shot, the exposure on her is, she's almost pitch black, okay? So the light that I'm adding is primarily, it's almost 100% flash. I'm cutting out all of the ambient light so that this is the dominant light over the front of her body. And so that way we don't have any mixed lighting over her skin. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing here. So don't light the same subject with light sources of different colors. Create a clear separation between light colors and don't allow different colors to bleed one over one another. That's the same thing we're talking about, like kind of lighting from behind, lighting from the front with two different colors of light. We don't want them to bleed over one another. Same thing as before, remember that gelling does reduce power. For this shot, we're bouncing off of a silver reflector, and I'm flashing probably around, I think this was around 1/4 power, 1/4 to 1/8 power off that reflector. Again, it's all about distance. I generally don't like to use TTL, and we'll talk about that later on, just because I like to have control over that power and have very specific and precise control. Again, we're covering the entire flash head with a gel. The most commonly used gel, again, for both creative and corrective purposes, is this CTO. We're using the same exact CTO, and if you want to get the background even more crazy blue, I don't know, I really wouldn't want to for this particular shot because this looks enough crazy blue for me. But you could stack another gel, and stacking another gel will pull this light even more orange. You can balance down to, say, 2600 degrees Kelvin, and then the background becomes even more blue. So remember that you can get kind of take it as far as you want for the particular style and the look that you want in your images. But this is one of my favorite uses for gels, is for that creative effect in your images. All right, so this is gelling for creative effect, and we will cover it more as we go through the workshop. We'll get into additional details and additional examples, but this is one of my favorite uses for Flash, is to gel and create these creative effects, because it makes for images that makes your clients just drop their jaw. They just go, what the heck? How did you do that? This looks nothing like that. In this video, I want to debunk 4 common myths about Flash. I feel weird when I tuck in my thumb like I should go 4 common myths about Flash. And those myths are that, number 1, Flash is complicated. And I have displayed a calculator here because I hate math. I absolutely hate it. And this is coming from a former accountant and CPA.